Hey, it's me, your boy Blue Getsuga, and today on my Yu-Gi-Oh! Tier Analysis video, I'm going to be talking about Goukis as well as Dinowrestlers, or at least the disappointment that is Dinowrestlers. First off, we have Goukis. They're great. They have great and underrated boss monsters, including Great Ogre. Great Ogre is actually a lot better now that links aren't the main focus, because a lot of the monsters have a lot of synchros, exceeds have fairly high defense points. And you can actually take advantage of that using your Great Ogre as well as your myriad of amazing boss monsters of the deck. Plus, they also have a monster, Sword Ogre, that basically allows you to tribute anything that it points to. So you can also use it to tribute annoying monsters like Burrow Swords. And like I mentioned, it's not phased by Master Rule 5. Master 5 practically helps this deck out even more than it already does. Excellent beatdown strategy. It's great against non-link strategies like I mentioned. It has great search power because most of your main deck monsters search, which is pretty nuts. And is incredibly versatile like I mentioned because you have so many different boss monsters that do so many different things. And for a beatdown deck, it's incredibly versatile. And I like that. And it can OTK because of Gouki finisher. The negatives. It's incredibly normal summon reliant, especially if you don't have any combo starters like Headbat or Suprex. And the Gator 2 early can just halt all your plays unless you manage to keep a monster on the field that can float. And that's all I have to say about this. That's all I have to say about Goukis. They're pretty decent, and I'm surprised people don't play pure Goukis all that often. I would say it's tier 2.5 because, yeah, it floats. Is a fun deck. Did I mention that it floats? And they have a lot of great boss monsters as well as they have a lot of great link strategies because the deck doesn't really force you into any links specifically. So that's also a really great plus. I'm almost tempted to say it's tier 2, but people would probably disagree. Anyways, next we have Dinowrestlers. Dinowrestlers wasted potential. That's all I have to say about this archetype. It has a cool boss monster. Yeah, basically its coolest boss monster is T-Rexel, as well as Spinosavid. Like the Synchro monster is the best monster in this entire archetype, in my opinion, because it has 3,000 attack. It has the Ancient Gear effect, as well as if it's destroyed, you can destroy another card instead. It has a lot of battle protection, so that's good. And miscellaneous source is at 3, at least for now, which is why I mentioned Dino support. Also, Fossil Dig is also at 3, again, for now. I think the reason why Dino Wrestlers suck, or at least Konami made them suck so bad, is because Dino support is just that broken. Anyways, it's too reliant on the amount of monsters your opponent controls, which, again, is annoying. I would have liked if they just I would like if they only put that restriction on Pancratops only, because it's such a stupid restriction. And they also have, like I mentioned, too many needless restrictions. Did you know that their level two tuner actually is a once per duel effect? Yeah, I didn't know that either until I was playtesting the deck, and I lost because my opponent pointed it out to me, and quite frankly, I wasn't really so mad at. I wasn't mad because I lost. I'm mad because it just slapped on that needless restriction. I mean, there are other tuners that do a lot more that aren't hard. That aren't once per duel effects. As well as some of the effects and restrictions contradict each other because, like I mentioned, a tuner, but there's also a level 3 that requires you to control no monsters for you to special summon it. So you can't special summon the tuner, but at the same time, if you special summon the level 3, then you won't be able to special summon the tuner. So basically, this deck is incredibly normal summon reliant, and their effects clash with each other, so that's not fun. And there's like way too many restrictions for my liking. And being for a deck that's all about beating your opponent down, it doesn't do a great job at it. Also, I like how they made such a great deck like Goukis, but then yeah, but then they just made this garbage right after. It's it's really weird. And it has difficulty summoning their boss monsters. Their fusion monster being the hardest to summon. I feel like the way they could easily fix that is by giving them a Link 1. At least that way, you normal summon a Dinowrestler, you link into that Link 1, and then you use your Poly or your in-themed fusion card, which somehow is worse than that's somehow worse than Poly. You're better off running Poly rather than their in-theme fusion card because their in-theme fusion card kind of sucks. And I mean, it does provide you some protection, but it's very hard to get off because that's like a 4 card investment just for a fusion monster that can potentially get wasted via non-destruction effects. So there's that. And you end up going into this card as well as their synchro monster because they're a lot easier to summon than your fusion monster. Also, it has trouble dealing with monster removal because it has a lot of battle protection, but not a lot of protection against card effects. Which is why Miscellaneousaurus is it's a staple 3 of in the deck. It really is. You have to run it at 3. This deck also lost 2 Pancratops, so it's even worse than it was before. And it lacks swarming abilities because their effects clash with each other for whatever reason, and I hate it. And I'm being generous here and giving it a 3.5 when I would realistically say it's tier 4 or it's on the cusp of being a tier 4 deck. But this deck can potentially beat a deck like Hazy Flames, which again doesn't say much at all. So do with that information as you will. It's me, your boy Blue Getsuga, and I'm out.